Hi guys! Today's video covers some of the odds and sods that aren't really related to any other sub-project, but we can get started with the quite exciting and very fancy Kindigit flush door handles. So, without further ado, let's get to it.
For some reason, this rear door was skipped when we were chemically stripping the rest of the car. There's some dent removal that has to happen, so easier to have the paint gone before we start that anyway.
Sometimes working on cars requires innovative solutions. There's a crash bar in here, which means that pulling these dents, like this right here, are a little bit difficult. So I make odd solutions like this contraption to get behind and support as a dolly. One-time use tool, or my one-time use tool, Evie.
One-time use. Oh.
She's gonna hold back up so I can get at this thing right here. Today's project is going to be installing the last of the Kindigit flush door handles on the Conti project. I already have the layout and all that prep work done for this one. All that remains is to remove the striker plate to get it off for alignment and painting purposes. For a non-rusty screw, that was harder than I expected. This will probably come as a surprise to nobody that does this, but maybe it's an original idea. I find the best way for filling little holes like this is to find a rod of the appropriate size. This is an oversized nail. Make your cut with a hacksaw until it's almost all the way through, and then you can bend it at about a 30-45 degree angle. Then you have a convenient handle to hold it while you're welding it in, or tack welding it in place. And then you just simply bend it further, break it off, and finish your weld. Ta-da, done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Here's the door handles and their pockets in place. The style of the originals, now with added sleekness. Not that keyhole though. We'll be using central locking with the remote, so that's gotta go. There, that's better.
On today's riveting installment of Things You Don't Normally See on a Car Build, we have the lowly kick panel and the need to obscure this rather elegant speaker hole.
I'm reusing these panels as they are in fact fairly complicated parts located in a pretty low-vis area, so not a lot of reward to fab new parts from scratch. Beakworks standards, however, require a certain amount of finesse applied even when taking the easier road, so I wanted the blanking plates to not have visible fasteners. Great idea, in theory. In practice, though,
what seemed like a simple idea has now turned into a 4-hour operation for all 8 studs. So I'm going to have to go to the lathe and machine each one down and then cut threads. Custom cars. Sometimes
Many hours later.
Gaze upon my custom fasteners with awe and wonder, and marvel at how beautifully they fit in the holes. They damn well better after all that lathe work. Time to get them welded up. Welding with the nuts in place serves dual purposes. It holds the stud at the correct location for the weld and also acts as a heat sink in case I get a little heavy with the pedal during the welds. Damn and blast! This is the consequence of working above this stupid grate. Grabby tool to the rescue! With the welds finished, I can then grind and surface finish the blanking plate to what it looked like before the holes were drilled.
look, Ma, no fasteners. So, she's all done, roughly sanded, because this is all getting painted the same color, and this should kind of blend into the background. So yeah, took about 4 hours as I suspected, and yeah, another dull part of the project over with.
A little treat for the end of the video. Stainless steel poo chutes made from mandrel bent 304 stainless courtesy of Amazon with Flowmaster, FlowFX mufflers, and itty bitty cats. I expect this will bark fairly loudly as the mufflers are basically glass packs with a little bend in the middle. No construction evidence exists because I built this exhaust before I started making videos. Also not filmed, the fuel tank construction. I reused the stock mounting points and hardware with slight modifications. This car is going to be driven long distances, therefore the tank was made as large as possible to give it decent range. The large concave section in the middle accommodates the differential bulge, and the two ovals flanking it give clearance for the upper parts of the 4-link suspension. This recess is for the level sender, and the other houses a Holley Sniper in-tank fuel pump. The stainless line is the vent for the tank to be routed to the fuel filler door area. A machined receiver on the tank works with the two O-rings on the fill pipe to seal this junction. The bulge on the fill pipe replicates the stock diameter so that we can use the stock fill pipe to body seal. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again in the next one.